people to create, distribute, and discover content. The social network enables users to send and receive short 140-character messages called tweets. This enables any voice to echo around the world instantly. The CEO is Dick Costolo as of 2010. He was initially the COO before becoming CEO. The headquarters is located in San Francisco and the hub of all the other high-stake tech companies. Twitter is a relatively new company as it is upcoming on its 10-year anniversary after the first tweet was sent out in 2006. Twitter's IPO was one of the most highly anticipated tech IPOs in recent years, giving investors everywhere an opportunity to own a piece of Twitter. Twitter's mission statement is to give everyone the power to create and share ideas and information instantly, without barriers. The mission statement is simple, concise, and clear. In a very simplified way, it captures exactly what Twitter accomplishes with their global platform. Twitter's vision statement is to reach the largest daily audience in the world by connecting everyone to their world via our information sharing and distribution platform products and be one of the top revenue-generating internet companies in the world. This is the only formal vision statement that Twitter has released, which was released in 2012. On the left, the Venn diagram details 3 key concepts of the company, which are objectives, scope, and competitive advantage, which meet in the middle to create their main focuses they plan to use to propel the company. According to the CEO, the new statement reflects shifting priorities. Twitter's devoted users care deeply about its mission, while its investors care more about its strategy. Initially, after the statement was released, many Twitter users were actually upset because the statement was over 80 characters above the Twitter limit of 140 and complained that it would be too long to send out as a tweet. Twitter is a company that focuses heavily on sticking to their core purpose through all of their business decisions, and it is reflected in all aspects of the company. One of their executives led a team to define Twitter's core values. The entire company's executives eventually joined in and came up with a list of these 10 principles. Twitter does a great job of showing how a company can think innovatively about how they work with employees and products. These are the core values, and I'm going to highlight a few. The first being defend and respect the user's voice. As a company whose core business model is to rely on the voice of the user to provide their content and discussion, it is a very important concept to value. Ultimately, the user is the one creating the content, and it's like the customer is always right in terms of a social network, so the user's always going to be right because they're creating the content. The second is the concept of simplification, or as they just put it, just simplify. Twitter was one of the first social networks to have a clean, simple timeline that users were able to interact with. And from their mission to their product to their values, everything is simplified but very effective. The company culture of Twitter is arguably unrivaled. Twitter topped every other company in terms of culture and values, ranking number 1 based on real employee testimonials and feedback. The report was conducted by Glassdoor, which does a yearly report of every company's corporate culture. The time period covered by the report was July 2013 to July 2014, which was an eventful one for Twitter, where it launched a successful IPO and famously turned 1,600 of its employees into instant millionaires, and one would assume pretty happy campers. Workers also get free meals at its San Francisco headquarters, in-office yoga classes, and unlimited vacation, at least for exempt employees. Employees have bought into the goals and core values of the company, which makes it a very team, task-oriented company. One of the main components to its success is CEO Dick Costolo, who believes that conducting employee reviews every 6 months is vital to employee and company success. He also created a 6-hour leadership course, which he administers to senior executives 4 times a year. Another interesting fact is that 50% of Twitter's employees are all engineers, which create space for continual innovations. Understanding Twitter's demographics are important to understanding their success. Twitter equals 18% of internet users, and these statistics are based on that 18%. The age demographic is mainly ages 49 and under, with a large amount of users being under the age of 29. The largest representation from an ethnicity is African American users at 29%, and in terms of income, the largest portion of users make $75,000 or more. In general, Twitter is particularly popular among those under 50 and the college educated. Compared with late 2013, the service has seen significant increases among a number of demographic groups, including men, whites, and ages 65 and older, and those who live in households with annual income of $50,000 or more. Also college graduates and those living in urban cities. If we take a look at this chart and just look at the amount of people using Twitter, we can understand why businesses are flocking to Twitter to create brand awareness and promote their products. The market has seen an increased trend in the usage of businesses on Twitter. This means that Twitter has the immense ability to persuade their users into making purchases. Users are 67% more likely to buy brands they follow. Perhaps the biggest component that Twitter can have on purchasing is the power of recommendations. I'm sure everyone has made a purchase solely based on a recommendation that they read or saw about a product. If we look at the chart, it says a consumer is 50% more likely to purchase based on a recommendation found on social media and have 663% increase in users asking for business recommendations. There's a major trend of interconnectivity in our daily lives, and that's why I've grouped social and technology together in terms of the market, because technology and apps like Twitter have changed the market in terms of the way we communicate, how we receive information, and our improved connectivity to the world. People like to be the first to receive information. The previous way of waiting until the news breaks is of the past. Through outlets like Twitter, we, the users, are now able to become our own reporters in a sense and break news and what's happening for the world to see. Twitter was one of the first companies to add hashtags into their code, which became a remarkable tool for delivering highly targeted brand messages and businesses using social media for their marketing. Their target audience can now join in trending conversations using the hashtag. The hashtag increases your brand awareness as well. It helps build relationships, increases brand loyalty, and gets directly to the audience you want. The hashtag has not only become a staple in the use of social media, it has also become a social phenomenon that we use in our everyday lives in terms of conversation. Just taking a look at some of the market information, we can see how many people actively use Twitter, the technology platform that they are using, which is mainly mobile, and then the global reach it has outside of the US. Twitter has often been criticized for not having a clear-cut, long-term strategic plan and somewhat of a muddled vision. It was only 2 years ago the CEO laid out these new objectives to give a more clear direction for investors and stakeholders. The main goal is to build the largest daily audience. The second point is to strengthen the existing user base and increase the amount of time spent inside the app and logged in, because more than 500 million people come to Twitter a month, but they don't log in, which makes it hard to get advertising to those users. Twitter also wants to change that by making people engage while being logged in as a long-term strategy. They are looking to expand on their multi-app strategy, which means continuing to invest in separate apps. Recently, Twitter launched Vine, which is a 6-second video app and has been extremely popular among teens and younger generation.